Our second speaker is Dr. Awal Fuseini. Awal is a Senior Halal Sector Manager with the Agriculture and Horticulture Development Board, ADHD. His role involves working with farmers, abattoir operators and others in the supply chain to highlight opportunities in the halal sector. Awal, over to you.
Thank you very much, Julia. And it's an absolute pleasure. And when I say an absolute pleasure, I really mean it, to be here in front of you, to talk to you, or to share with you the opportunities that exist in the halal sector. My name is Awal. My background is in meat science. I obtained my PhD from Bristol University. I believe Bristol University is the best university in the world. Yeah. And I work for the Agriculture and Horticulture Development Board. For farmers amongst us, you fund us. Our funding comes directly from farmers and processors. And we then invest your funding in areas that cuts across several areas. Well, in areas that help you farmers to compete globally. So we get involved in knowledge exchange, knowledge transfer, research, animal welfare, environment, and almost everything. So I'm not going to dwell too much on what we do because most of you know us. So today, the topic is very important, faith markets, or markets that we don't normally talk about. According to UK welfare regulations, slaughter regulations, that is WATOC, and also EU regulations, EC 1099/2009, two slaughter protocols are recognized religiously. We've got slaughter for Muslims, which is called Halal, and we've got slaughter for the Jewish community, which is called Shikita slaughter. These are the two protocols that are recognized by law, by UK law. I'm not going to dwell too much about regulations. Again, so what is halal? I'm here to focus on halal. We've got Shikita and halal, but today I'm going to focus on halal. Halal is an Arabic word that means anything that is permissible. So anything that is permissible. So it's not just about food. You may have heard about halal food or halal meat. Halal is more than that. It covers the way Muslims do business transactions, the way Muslims live our lives. I'm a Muslim as well. So as a Muslim, I'm not allowed to gamble, for instance. I cannot stake lottery. I'm not allowed to drink alcohol. But that is the rule. If you go to any pub, you are likely to find Muslims in there. But the rules say they shouldn't drink. So that is the meaning of halal. This is very interesting. This is an important statistic I want to share. And it's a statistic or data from the Food Standards Agency. If you look at the total slaughter of animals in England and Wales, halal slaughter accounts for, wait for it, 72% of the total number of sheep that is slaughtered in England and Wales. Muslims represent only 6.5% of the population, but halal slaughter accounts for 72% of sheep. Goats, 56%, calves, 5%, and cattle, 4%. The reason why I'm sharing this data with you is that to highlight the fact that the halal market is very important. I know it's been relegated to the backgrounds, but as farmers, this is a market you and I can no longer ignore. Let's move on. Now let's look at the value of the market. Recent research conducted by the School of Huddersfield University Business School, which I was part of, found that the halal market is valued at £2 billion. That is poultry, beef, and small ruminants, meat from small ruminants. If you look at the reason for this is that the Muslim population is growing at a very rapid rate. If you look at data from the Office for National Statistics, from 2011 to 2021, the Muslim population expanded by 1.16 million. Compare that to the general population only expanded by 3.5 million. That is 33% expansion. It is a market, a population that policy makers cannot ignore. So the population, and the other thing is the fact that the Muslim community has got high fertility rate. I speak to farmers around the country every time, and when I speak to them, I try to illustrate the fact that, yes, the Muslim population has got high fertility rate. And I use myself as an example. I always tell them, look, I've got 4 kids. I've got 4 children, and I always try to find out if somebody can beat me in the crowd. And speaking to farmers, there's always somebody at the back who say, "I will have got 5 or 6." So they always try to beat me. And it also tells you that farmers get busier at night. I hope there are no underage. I hope there are no underage people here. So another statistic I want to look at is the second to last statistic, which was research carried out by AHDB. And it found that 62% of the Muslim population consume lamb at least once a week. Compare that to the general population, only 6% of the general population will consume lamb at least once a week. That is almost 10 times that. It is a market you and I can no longer ignore. Now, if you look at that statistic, now compare that to the total amount of money that is spent on meat. If you look at the general population, it's around 12 pounds per month. Compare that to the Muslim population, it's almost 3 times the amount of money they spend. It is a population, it is a market, as I said, you cannot ignore. Let's look at mutton. Mutton, over 90% of the mutton that farmers produce end up in the halal market. Go to Tesco, Asda, and Morrison's and try to buy yourself mutton. You struggle to find it. Go to a halal supermarket and it's full of mutton. Now, this is a picture that, as farmers, you should keep in your mind as well. It's a picture I took in a halal retail shop in London, in West London. If you look at it, you see cow feet in there, you see sheep heads, you see sheep feet, you see tripe. These are products you cannot find in Asda, Morrison, and Tesco. And if I were to ask you as farmers, when was the last time you ate cow feet, people will struggle to tell me when. And it's not funny. It's not that, although you don't eat it, you don't eat these products, don't look at them as low quality or low value products. And that is where AHDB steps in. AHDB is able to develop markets for these products with your levy. Because these products, apart from the Muslim market, there are other markets in Africa, in China, where these markets are valued. But as farmers, these are markets you cannot develop yourself. And that is why your levy is very important. So I'm hoping at the end of this, you'll be calling AHDB to increase your levy. Now, let's look at why the halal market is also important and things the farmers need to know as well. There are a number of festivals in the Muslim community during which peak consumption is observed for meat. We've got the Ramadan. Ramadan is in March, Qurbani, which is in June, Eid al-Fitr, and Akika. These are all festivals that are very important to you as farmers. I'm not going to dwell too much on it. There's an abattoir called Qurbani. Sorry, not an abattoir. There's a festival called Qurbani Festival. If you want to read more about it, you can look at our website, www.ahdb.org.uk/halal. It will take you there. Now, there are other important things outside the domestic market. If you look at the Islamic ranking or the ranking of the Islamic economy, surprisingly, the UK is ranked number 13 in the global Islamic economy. The reason for this is that the UK is a magnet for Muslim investment in tourism, in housing, in Islamic finance, and in halal food. So the politicians are amongst us. I hope you are still here. You need to take halal seriously. We can also look at population. Population is increasing everywhere for the Muslim population. There are countries with almost 100% Muslims. These are things we need to look at. So you may be asking me, my time is almost up. You may be asking me why or what the UK is doing about the halal market. Why, if it's that important, why are we not doing a lot? AHDB is in the market. AHDB is doing a lot in the market. This picture on the screen is a picture of the British Embassy in Dubai, where we went with our exporters from the UK. If you look at the picture, you may recognize some of the processes to meet buyers and showcase British lamb to buyers in the region. That picture there is of Kuwait. is in Kuwait 3 months ago, where we were there with some exporters to interact directly with buyers to be able to sort of strike business deals. That is in Dubai. Again, we went out with exporters to interact with buyers in the region. That is my final slide, but I just want to borrow, or I want to paraphrase former President Barack Obama. Will was saying the Oxford Farming Conference started in 1936, if I'm not mistaken. 1936, somebody who looks like me coming to talk to you about a topic that is still frowned upon by many people would have been completely unlikely. There is no way I would have been given the opportunity to stand before you as farmers in 1936, or even 40 years ago, 20 years ago, to talk to you about halal. Many farmers would have sworn at me. But for the organizers of the Oxford Farming Conference, as I said, I take this as a privilege from the bottom of my heart. I would like to thank you for thinking outside the box, for thinking that, look, the farming industry needs everybody. The farming industry needs people who do not look like you. The farming industry needs people who have got different religion, people who have got different sexuality, people who look different. I look different. I'm a black man, if you still don't realize. So thank you very much to the organizers, and I hope we can take this industry seriously. Thank you.